Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is me going on holiday to Turin. We drove to London Stansted Airport. As you can see, here was my breakfast for £14. It wasn't the greatest, but it filled me up early morning. Here you can see us going over some mountains on the flight. Once we landed, we got the Flipco coach, took us straight to Torino Central, and it cost us £6. It was very good, very fast, and reliable, I would say. We then walked to our hotel, which was the Best Western Luxor. It was £357 plus £4.50 per person per night tourist tax. Once we'd finished there, we went for a walk. We saw the main train station in Turin. There was a few statues around, which we walked to. We then stopped off for a pizza. It was €8, and their pizzas are very fresh. Also, can't go wrong with an Aperol Spritz and a Coca-Cola. For all three of the items, it came to €16, which was £13.79 on the day. Then we headed down towards the river, and that was very nice. We then headed back to the room for an early morning. This was my breakfast. And we headed to the Fiat Museum. There's a lot of old cars and history about Fiat when they made planes and cars. Once we'd finished there, we headed to another museum, and along the walk I saw some artwork graffiti. And in the museum there was lots of paintings and a roof, which was very famous from the Italian Job. Once we'd finished up there, we headed for an arancini and a Coke, and then we went for dinner a bit later on. We then went for a late evening stroll around Turin and saw loads of artwork on the walls before going back to bed. The next day, we went to the Juventus football stadium tour. It was not the biggest. We did the whole thing in about 45 minutes. We then went to the Egypt Museum in Turin Central. There were so many artifacts across 3 floors, and it was very good. Once we finished in there, we headed for another arancini. It was €3. It was a carbonara. It was the best. We then got a coach from Turin to Nice, and it took about 4 hours. And once we got off the coach, we got the overground tram to Nice Central. Here you can see the beach. It was packed every single day. Here was my lunch, and we headed to Monaco. It was very easy to get to Monaco on the train, and there you can see the casino. Here you can see the main bend that you see on the Formula 1. And there's the harbour with all the £1 million yachts. Inside the Prince's Museum with all of his cars. We then headed back to Nice. And here you can see this is what the beach looked like at night. It was jam-packed with loads of people. And there's some monument. The next morning we went up high towards a waterfall and you could see the top of the beach, and here was the view. Here was my lunch/dinner, and that was the end of my holiday. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment down below.